I have some paints here. They're just from the dollar store. Always use what you've got. Okay, ready to go deep sea diving?
Okay.
So, I want you to choose a blue, a teal, something you'd like to start with. Okay, I'm going to choose a teal. If you don't have that, a blue is fine. I just use a tile to put my paint on. And put a little water. Okay. I'm taking water on the brush and dripping it onto my palette and taking some paint and putting it into it. So it's nice and watery. And what we're going to do, this is our wash. Okay. So onto the canvas, and it doesn't matter if you have the exact size canvas I do.
Okay. Can I use ultramarine blue?
Yes, you may.
Tara, what size brush you're using?
Oh, this is, oh, it's the number on here. I don't know. It's a wide one, too.
So a fairly big, wide brush, right?
Yeah, get a wide brush just so you can scoop up a lot of paint, and you want to cover a fairly wide area. And you see how my paint is dripping down? So it's nice and watery. And what we're doing is building up a background. Every painting is always done in layers. And take a bit more water. Mix that up and brush it in. Can everyone see okay? It doesn't matter if it's even. I'm going for a bit of texture. A little more water.
Your color looks quite light. Is the better bet to add maybe some white to it or something?
No, this is just the teal. If you don't have a really light one, then you can add white to a blue. Just keep dipping in my water. Okay, how are we doing? Are you about halfway down?
Is that how far we're going? Halfway down?
Yeah, halfway or 3/4. Doesn't matter because part of it will be covered up anyway. But we want to put that down as a base. Okay. Are we there? I don't want to lose anyone. Okay, so now I'm going to take a darker blue. Doesn't matter the color. So I'm going to take some of that and I put it beside my teal. Add a little water, the brush, and start mixing some of that in. So see, I'm making a nice puddle over here. Take the darker blue in, mix it with my teal. Doesn't matter if it's mixed perfectly. Variation in color is nice. So now I'm starting at the bottom. Okay, let me just move my paint cloth. All right. A little water. Okay, so when we come to the point where the colors will meet, just take a little bit of water, not too much, and blend. Okay, so it's perfectly imperfect. All right, so I'm going to set aside this larger brush, okay? Now we're going to start building up the bottom of the ocean. I'm choosing a brown. This is espresso, but again, it doesn't matter. Just choose a darker color. Now, this brush, it says 16, so it is, I think it's about half the size of the thicker one that I had. Okay. Just mixing in a little water so it's not too heavy. Okay. Now this is still wet. That's okay. We're going to go with it. All right. So you just start, we're building up some rock at the bottom. And all I'm doing is little dabs. Little dab, it's a dab and a drag, dab and a drag. Okay. It's okay if it mixes in a little, it's a bit wet. What we're doing is creating some texture with a bit of color. How are you doing? So this is an even smaller brush. Okay, see the tip?
So, for the rocks, did you use white and brown?
No, I just used the brown on wet background. And when you dab, that puts some of the paint down and it lifts some of the paint. So you're creating shadow and highlight just when you apply it.
Okay, thank you.
And we can add more layers to those later. Hopefully this dries. So at the bottom of the sea, in a tropical sea, there are a lot more colors than we're aware of. I'm choosing a little bit of purple. Okay. This is African violet. And a little bit of orange. So what I want you to do is just take a few brighter colors, put them on your palette. Whichever ones you choose is fine. Okay, I have 3 here. We can add more, we can do more layers, but we'll start with 3.
Which three
So
colors did you use?
I use purple and flesh tone and orange. So I have my, because I'm sitting on a stool doing this on my canvas, I have this paint cloth on my leg. So whenever I dip into the water, and then I can blot it on my leg before I go up to the canvas. Okay, so I'm dipping in and taking just a bit. And if I find it's too much, I can wipe a little off here. Okay. So load up your brush, but not too heavy. Now this is fairly wet, so that makes it tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to start building up the coral. And I'm just dotting it on, just little dabs. So you just touch, tap, 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 tapping it on. Okay, put more on your brush and tap a little on. So this time you're not tapping as hard as we did with the rocks. We're just little touches so you can leave the paint on the canvas. And then you can scoop a different color. Everyone okay? So I'm grabbing a second small brush so I can keep the orange on this one. And this is the same size. You can always wash it out and wipe it on your towel. So now I have some of the purple. Okay. And this is just a dab, dab, dab. You're just depositing some paint in little dabs. Because it's wet, it's going to give you the depth because you're lifting off just a little bit of paint.
So we're doing the orange first and then the purple,
Yeah,
the dabs first.
just the dabs, yeah. So I did the orange first, and then I did just a little bit of the flesh tone here with the same brush so that it mixed the colors just a little. So this one looks lighter.
Is there a
Would you mind
reference
to get
photo?
your photo closer? What are they?
would you mind get the picture close to the video?
You can't see it very well?
Well, the orange and the purple, what are they for?
Oh, we're creating some coral. So it's just little dots. You're just doing little dots. So just dot it like this. Scoop it on your brush and dot it.
On top of the rocks?
Yep, on top of the rocks. So now we're putting like a blanket over the rock. We're not covering all of the rock. We're just going over and around.
Is there a reference photo?
It's in my head. Sorry. I'd let you in there if you could. I could, but you'd probably be frightened. So am I going too fast or is everyone okay?
It's okay.
A little bit too fast?
Okay.
Is there a zoom? Can I zoom in or?
Yeah, you can. If
zoom
you click on me,
on you?
but you can also make the screen larger.
Yeah.
Do you have a mouse
an
pad?
I have an iPad.
Can you do that on the pad?
That's the largest it goes, yeah.
Okay. Let's dip into the dark green. And we're going to leave a little trail going up again. And it doesn't have to go all the way up in a successive line. You can have breaks in it. So there can be little spaces. You want to give the illusion of a strong stem. Is everyone with me? So I'm scooping up some more green. Okay, setting it aside. And let's try dipping some of the purple.
So green and purple?
Yeah. So you're going to end up with sort of a taupe brown, taupey green. That's what I mean. So this is nice and muddy, but that's what we want. So I'm going down on the bottom. Okay. Just doing little wiggles.
Are you doing wiggles on the rocks?
Yeah, up to and then partly on the bottom of them. So it's a little bit darker than the rocks. We're just adding some mud on the bottom. Okay, so I've done it down at the very bottom. And I haven't done it over in these areas. So remember, this is all done in layers. Okay. So we need a darker color here.
Are we doing the whole bottom of the ocean in that color, in the brown,
No, just at the front.
or just at the front?
Okay, so I've chosen a darker green. Okay, it's a darker green. And here. I'm going to take some of the darker green and we're going to start building up foliage in the background. I'm starting at the far side. So this is coming off the rock at the far side here. So you're doing the same thing, building up some seaweed. Just gentle pats, dotting it on. This is darker because this is more in the shadow. This one is more in the background. Okay, let's put some seaweed over here. How's everyone doing? Okay. Is everyone with me? I'm taking a tan. I have tan on here. Where there are lighter bits in the rock, I'm just going to go in a little bit with the tan. Okay.
Is that a light brown or
Yes, it is a light brown.
a light brown?
So we're just putting a little bit of sand, lighter colored, on parts of the rock.
Are we dabbing on the rock?
Yes. And you're not putting it everywhere. You can think of it as the higher parts on your rock. So maybe the light would hit this and you would be able to see this. Okay, and I filled in this corner and brought the sand over just a little bit. Okay, a little on there. So creating these layers of colors, you are creating depth in your painting. Okay, and when you're satisfied with that layer, rinse your brush. Okay. There's feedback somewhere. Okay, we're going to, it's red. This one is a bright red. Sometimes on the bottom of the sea, you're going to see some interesting plants. And I have seen this one, I don't know what it is. It's a, kind of looks like a tomato. So I'm gonna take some red, add just a touch of the tan to it. So it mutes it because my red is very bright and I don't want the plant that bright. So here, in this little nook, I'm gonna create, it's kind of like a tomato. Okay, so that needs to dry a bit. All I know is that starfish are attracted to this. So we're gonna let this dry and then we can add another layer to it after.
Are you a scuba diver?
Sorry?
Are you a scuba diver?
No. I like the sea though. All right, cleaned up my brush. Now, if we focus on some things in the background here, I've taken the green and I'm adding just a little bit of seaweed back here. Sorry.
There's no sound.
Oh. So I'm putting some darker coral at the back. I've just taken the purple. Yeah. This is a very dark blue, navy blue. Okay. Just a tiny bit of it. And I'm going to take some of the purple that I've had on my palette and some of this dark that I just put on because I want to create coral that is in the background and even darker. So I'm just dotting these in the background like they're coming up from behind this reef. That's going to help produce some depth. Okay. Let's go back and see if we can add another layer. Down here.
What color are you putting on the red flower?
Down here,
Yes.
it's the bright red, and then I took a little bit of the purple to dampen it down so it's a deeper shade. And don't mix them perfectly because you want a small variation in color.
And just dab that around the outside?
I put it on all of it, yeah.
Okay.
Because it was wet, it was hard to put a big layer on it. Okay. Okay, so if you take your tan, the light brown, we're going to use this as a base. Okay. And up here, create an oval. I'm going to develop a sea turtle. Okay, so that's the tan, and then I'm taking a bit of green. This is the lighter green that we first used. I'm just brushing it lightly on his back. And you see how some of the brown can still be seen through. If you do like little brushes almost in a half circle, okay, then you are creating the texture that is on his back. Okay. Everyone with me? So he's kind of shaped like a mango pit. I'm just using a bit of the tan. I'm going to build up the shape of his head and his fins, his legs. If you find this brush, the smaller one that we're using, is too big, go to a smaller one, it's okay. So that you have the control that you need. I'm just adding a bit more green on top of my tan. But I'm not covering everything in. Okay. I have a very thin tipped brush. You're welcome. So I'm going to take a bit of this yellow at the bottom and dab it in, and very carefully, because the paint is still wet, but we're running out of time, I'm going to create a little starfish down here. And I'm just going to do it with dots, okay? So I've loaded up the paintbrush. And we're just going to dot in. Careful not to pick up the paint that's already there.
What color is that?
Yellow, so that it stands out nicely. Okay. You're creating a little baby starfish down here. Okay. You can always take the yellow and add a few highlights of light. Onto your seaweed. The upper part, you decide where your light is coming from. And maybe there's a bit of highlight on your turtle as well. If you want to paint, you can. You're welcome. Thanks, Jillian. Thank you very much for joining in, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my cat Genevieve. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are you going to give us more classes?
I hope